So thank you so much for inviting me here. And I consider myself so fortunate so that I can do this satsang with you all and share some of my experiences with Bhagwan. And as it is shared, I would share a little bit of how I came to Swami's fold. And also some of the things which had a huge impact on me. What were the things which inspired me or had a lasting impression in my memory. So I'm from, basically my family, my parents were from a village in Himachal, a small village in India, very close to Himalayas. And when my dad got a job in defense, he moved to Bombay. And it's there that Swami would come to Dharmakshetra. And that's where we would go for having his darshans. We were introduced by one of our close friends. And that was the interaction. We would go there, have Swami's darshan. This was back in 70s or 80s. And life went on. And how my parents liked, I think, was the bhajans. As we went to Balvikas and started learning bhajans and shlokas, they were very impressed and they liked it. It also, they enjoyed, and then they wanted us to kind of learn more. And so we started going to Balvikas. And then we heard of Swami's institutions. And so my sister first got into Anantapur in girls' hostel. And I first tried going there after my 10th grade, so that would be for my 11th and 12th grade. But somehow I did not get the admission. So I kind of, because the interview was really tough. And so I cried. Everyone was like, oh, you could, I think my sister was more hurt, but just to, as I go on, and I think I'll say that whatever happens is, Swami is answering everybody's prayer, but also, there should be a strong yearning. And I think at that point, I wasn't going there for Swami. It was more of, oh, my sister is there, I can be close to her too. It was that. So then the rest, 2 years, but when this happens to you, and so this also kind of triggered a lot of, new questions in my mind. And as a young, 11th grade kid, I started wondering why I'm here, what happens to you? And this is not, this was very natural. All these questions came to me. Why am I here? What's my goal? And also this, I wouldn't say that there was any, miraculous realization, but whatever I knew was more from going to temples or reading, Shiva Puran, or whatever the text which was read in home. The picture which, the way God is depicted to you. He can fly in the air. He doesn't eat anything. He doesn't breathe. So you go with all these questions, but I think I sincerely posed this question. I want to know who is God. All this kind of came in me. And so I kept preparing, I think, and this was after my 12th grade that I had opportunities to actually go to medical school, but somehow this came first. Like, I gave an interview and I filled out, there was an entrance exam for Swami School, and I got selected. So then everything else was, left behind. I was very happy, and also parents are happy, and so there was another reason actually, and I always become very emotional when I share it. Always there are some events in your life which are, out of control, and I kind of had a medical condition, and which was not curable by doctors. I had tried a lot of medicine. My parents even took me to, in India there are these, they say Mata, there is a places where, it's kind of Jaduguna actually, but they claim that they can cure you, so they did all that and nothing worked. So my parents were like, you have no other hope, and the only hope is Swami, he's avatar of Shiva Shakti, like, he's God, avatar, God incarnation. He's the only one who can cure you. So that was actually one of the, motivation. And but you can imagine all these things, and it's always, no matter how much I've gone, I've shared, but whenever I share this, I kind of become very emotional. But so I did, go, I got selected, and it was the thing which touched me more, as I think later, I was cured by Swami, definitely. I wrote that letter and he just came and directly took it. But he never mentioned, he never takes any credit for anything. And it's remarkable, like, it's just not just me, but millions and millions of devotees who have experienced his grace. He has cured them. And no wonder Swami says, even people who deny me, right, I would still not forsake them. There are so many people who are not even aware that the God in them, the Swami in them, is doing everything, right? But still, even if you deny that he exists, you say, no, God is not there, he's still taking care of everyone. Isn't that amazing? And so there are thousands and thousands of miracles which we know, we have been able to hear, but so many more which we don't even hear about. And this was one such. He just took that day that letter from me, and there was no word. He just blessed me. He was just showing his Avehasta. And that day, and till today, I'm cured. I've never thought about that problem again. And it so happened that initially, this was a big stress for me when I joined the hostel, because this was a problem from my childhood, actually. So then I really started enjoying hostel life. See, he makes you fit for the stay there, right? And I kind of got more involved in activities, and I remember once Swami visited Vrindavan, the next question was how to get his attention, because everybody was there doing something, right? Yoga, sports, bhajans, or drama, like whatever, or like adjusting, mics or PA system, wherever they could get a chance to be near him. And I remember first in the hostel, I think one of the, so our lecturers came around that for sports meet where students present do a lot of activities in front of Swami, and he said we need at least 2 or 3 boys who can be dressed as Saraswati and Lakshmi. There was a play, right? There was a float which had to be which was going in front of Swami, and they were depicting how in today's in Kali Yuga there is more importance given to Lakshmi. So Lakshmi was going to be heavy and Saraswati had to be. So they were looking for a small person as a weight wise, and so they asked me, would you become Saraswati? I was like, this, I didn't even think twice. I'm living in a boys' hostel. I could get ragged. People could, tease me, or nothing came. And I was like, okay, I can. If I can do it, I'll do it. Okay, I said I'm fine. So I was dressed, and I think that was my first interaction. I got a Pad Namaskar from Swami in the stadium there, and also I have a couple of not those pictures, but a couple of other events. I think as we go along, I think each thing will remind me of some experience there. So I was there in Vrindavan from 98 to 91, and if you move the next, this is the temple where Vrindavan is special. So as you all must have heard, Swami says Vrindavan is my home, and like Patti is my office, he says, or kind of playground. And so we would all sit outside the stairs there and would wait for Swami's, approval. The moment he raises or gives any signal, there would be a strong, voice would just dash in. Like, there were times when I think the door was broken or cracked, things flew around, furniture flew, and there were some VIPs who complained, Swami, what is this, Swami? And, but so Swami, this was only one special, I've seen where Swami would, kind of say to students, no, you should. He would say, but even he couldn't, actually, boys had such intensity to get a spot near Swami where he was sitting, because and then he would come from behind when everybody was seated. And it was very hard and to tell you, it was not that easy. Like in hostel, the moment boys would come back from school, there would be a line where people, boys would literally miss their tea, tiffin, food, whatever, to be in that line and be first. So when the line starts, they could be in the front. So there was a lot of, I would say, they wouldn't call it penance, but it was kind of a tapasya, right? People would give up things to get a close spot near to Swami. And sometimes Swami would also like to show off to some VIPs. Like look at how boys are running, right? It was kind of fun. It was only in Vrindavan that I've seen, not in Parthi and not anywhere else I've seen, with Swami permitted this kind of free, interaction. And Swami would mostly be in a chula kind of thing, and there would be all kids and lecturers, or Swami would invite somebody to speak, and those people would be there. And so there's a picture of Swami with deers just outside, and he would sit in front of the veranda or the entrance. On the back side, there was a small enclosure where there were deers freely roaming around. And you've all heard stories about how, the deers they almost knew Swami, like how they could, if anybody else went in, they would run away, disappear, but Swami came, everybody would go to him. You could see how they all come near him. And this was a special moment when Swami would come back from Parthi. And this is where actually in Vrindavan, I think I would like to share how I started singing. So I was never trained in music. And I think it was all His grace that whatever I can sing even today. And this was, I started, so why this happened was that, I did become Saraswati. I thought that way Swami would know, right? But I figured out, no, that nothing happened. I think there was probably, there was no other, and then the other activity which would allow you to sit near Swami was bhajans, or songs, right? Always, every day evening before darshan, or on a special festival, there were always bhajans, and Swami would always allow singers to come sit in the front. That spot was always reserved, and I was like, wow, this is wonderful. I could sing a little bit, but then it probably prompted me to, and I believe it was His grace, that I kind of started, and I made an attempt, and I asked Swami, can I sing? He said, okay, yes, because you have to get His approval. And I started, and this was suddenly when, I think one day, one of the seniors told, Swami's coming, it's Ram Navami, and you have to sing a solo bhajan. So this was, I think the function was at 9 o'clock, and I came to know at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I was given, my first solo bhajan in front of Swami was, Mujhe apni sharan mein le lo Ram. And I can sing a little bit. It goes, Mujhe apni sharan mein le lo Ram, mujhe apni sharan mein le lo Ram. Lochan man mein jagah na ho to, lochan man mein jagah na ho to, जुगल चरण में ले लो राम, मुझे अपनी शरण में ले लो राम. So, and it's interesting, this song always reminds me of another incident. So I sang this and I kind of did a good job. And but in the end, the alap was kind of very tough, and I attempted, but I think I couldn't do a good job. And I almost was very bad. This was my first solo song, and I may never get a chance again. I spoiled it, but Swami is not. It doesn't work that way with Swami. He gives so many chances. And then one of the senior, I was almost going to say in that next darshan, I thought I would go and I would tell Swami sorry or something like that. But once one of the seniors told, you don't tell Swami sorry. You know, he didn't say anything, you're fine. And so I kept quiet. And it was one of the, as we went along, I think one of the interviews I think I got where he allowed my family to come. And I remember first time I got a chance where, you know, I was there and my parents were there, and Swami was talking about things and he talked to us. And so I went to, after morning, I think darshan, I went to college, and in the evening or on another occasion, I think he called my parents. And my parents, I think, said, Swami, Suresh bhajan gata, he sings songs. So I said, yeah, he sings like a parrot. And you know, my parents probably didn't think much about it. And so when later on they told me, first I was very happy. I was like, wow, Swami thought about me. Right? He said, oh, he's a parrot. He sings like a parrot. And I was very happy. You know, Swami is thinking about you or telling about you something. But as I moved along, I realized, you know, how true it was. Like, you know, so when I was singing this bhajan, Mujhe apni sharan mein le lo Ram, actually what I was thinking, Lochan man mein jageh na ho to. I thought, if you don't have space for me in your eyes, doesn't matter, take me, you know, close to your feet. But it means is, and Lochan man mein jageh na ho, for me I thought, if I am not realized, you know, enlightened, Lochan man mein jageh na ho, I thought I don't have that enlightenment, you know, that Lochan or that whatever light is not in me, or something like that. I thought, you know, I'm not the realized one, but still take me. And you know, when I started thinking, I never thought anything about meaning. As it is, I don't know Sanskrit. I'm very bad. I cannot do or even chant anything. And I would again narrate incident as we go on, how Swami showed me that it's not that he doesn't know that. But then, when Swami says something, it definitely makes a huge impact. And I kind of started always thinking about meaning whenever I'm talking to someone, or you know, even my kids' names. I think Soham and Pranav were thought after thinking. I was like, I'm giving them a name, like, you know, parents, and we have to think, what name should I give him? There should be a meaning. So that kind of, you know, put me on that track, and I tried to, as far as possible, know the meaning. And this is one of the songs, Tum Aaye Tere Sang. Swami would come back, and on the lawns we would sing, Tum Aaye Tere Sang Aayi Bahar, Tum Aaye Tere Sang Aayi Bahar, Swagat Tera Karte Hain Hum, कितनी खुशी की घड़ी है आई, स्वागत तेरा करते हैं हम, कितनी खुशी की घड़ी है आई, तुम आए तेरे संग आई बहार. And actually speaking, the entire Vrindavan used to get transformed when Swami used to come. And I remember as in that group, I got in the same group with me, there were Ravi Kumar, Arunesh Punita, Harish Vedhi, who were in Swami's school from, I think, Ooty. So Swami knew them very well. So they used to get a lot of chances, you know, if I should say that Swami knows everyone very well, right? We are all from him. We are all parts of his divinity. So he knows everyone very well. But, you know, even on a physical level, he knew them from Ooty, and he would call them a lot, and I would get tagged along. I mean, I used to get a lot of chances because of that, I thought. And I was singing, and when I was singing, I could see the joy in Swami's eyes too, when he would sing this song. And this is one of the occasions wherein Trai Vrindavan, after the bhajans or session, you could give aarti to Swami. So every student would get a chance to do that. That's in the picture I'm showing here. this is the tree which was there in Vrindavan at that time. And Swami would give darshan to devotees here, not students actually. Students would go straight in near the temple inside. And this is one of my very favorite bhajans which I used to sing in front of Swami. It goes, Bansi dhara kanhaiya, ghan shyam sundara, giridhari gopabala, vrindavana vihara, bansi dhara kanhaiya, ghan shyam sundara, Govinda Madhava Hare Madhusudhana Mukunda Sai Govinda Sai Gopal Sai Govinda Sai Sai Govinda Sai Gopal Sai Govinda Sai Bansi dhara kanhaiya ghan shyam sundara. So the time which was spent in Vrindavan, I think for me this was the most, as I've talked to many, devotees. I've always mentioned, somehow Vrindavan was more. It was a place where I grew max. I mean, because I think probably also coming from outside, but it's a very nice environment. You have the in the morning session we were talking to students how we have a very disciplined schedule there, right from mornings to prapatam to evening prayers. And I think it's also the feeling that Swami is in front of you, that I think also makes you probably somehow you miss Swami more, you think more there. And so we can come back. This is one of the bhajans. I could sing it later, but I wanted to share some more things. And Swami also conducted. When I joined there, I think Swami again started during that time summer discourses. And we got a lot of chances, and that made a huge impact. When I heard these summer discourses from Swami, it would be like almost the entire day was spent, and Swami would talk almost half the day, give discourses, and it made huge. I mean, it was not, Swami was again explaining to us about the Vedas and the past culture, Hinduism, how we miss it, and what's the real meaning. And I think that made a huge impact. The other things which, the most important message which I take, or which as a student, even when I was from Bombay and I went there as a student with a lot of open questions, and as I go on, I will talk to you my first interaction with Swami when Swami picked me for going to Kodaikanal. And in the bus itself, we were all going in the bus. Swami's car was in the front, and somewhere in the middle he stopped, and he came inside the bus, and he spotted me, and he was like, he came and said, and there were I think 20 of us, 20 students, and also many faculty, and he said, "Hey boy, there's some problem in your stomach, indigestion." And I'm smiling, I'm laughing, as it is, my mind was full of doubts actually at that point. And I'm like, Swami is joking because I'm perfectly fine. But Swami doesn't stop. He goes and he creates a vibhuti. He waved his hand, and there was like rain vibhuti which he didn't even give me in my hand. He just asked me to open my mouth, and he put straight in my mouth. and it was really hot. I could feel the warmth. It was like it just came from fire. It was hot. I felt it. But still mind, it doesn't want to think. Those experiences stick with you, and later on you think, oh my God, that booth is really hot, and now you think about it. But at that time I'm thinking, Swami said I have indigestion, but I'm perfectly fine. You are still, you're not understanding. And that was the whole process, I think, the whole purpose why he took me along. And he took me to Kodaikanal. And then there, I think the process, there are a lot of experiences, a lot of things which happened. We sang for the occasions there. There are some of the experiences I think I would like to share, which really taught me a lot, because this was like real one-on-one. Like, it wasn't like in the morning we would go for darshan and go to the hostel back. It was, we were staying with Swami for almost a month. It was the same building under which, so if say for instance that was the door of Swami's room, in the night we would put our beds, these were the sleeping bags which we would roll out and just randomly spread over, right? Whoever was early would get a chance in the front, and then other people were around, and I remember even that there was a staircase, and there was one boy who was on the staircase too. There was a space there, then so farther, and then down there was a hall where I can show some pictures actually to give you some idea if you move on. This is just one of the summer booths. When it would end, Swami would give some kind of a token or a present to singers. You can see there's Ravi Kumar, S. Kumar behind there. We were all, as a team, we would sing for music programs. This is just one of the pictures we took in front of our institute in Vrindavan, where Swami posed with that particular biosciences group. So he gave us a group picture together. So this was my birthday period then, from 91 to 93 I was there. This was after one of the music programs that Swami gave us this group picture. So I always, as I said, many things made huge impact. But one thing that Swami did, and I think I always, wherever, not only devotees, but even in my, as a research scientist, I come across many people, like, many of the faculty and, students, undergrads, and I always, and sometimes, people ask me, so you're from India, and you're a Hindu, right? Because people have now read, they know Hindu, Indians are, majority of them are Hindus, and they ask me these questions, and I don't, fail to mention that, I believe in all religions. And this is what, I think there was a time, I think one of the sports meet that we all sang, and this is a song which actually is there. Later on, I got a chance to actually record it. But at that point when we were practicing, so to give some more idea, what used to happen was for sports meet, there used to be for a month or so, or at least 2-3 weeks, there were no school or no college would just stop. We would just practice constantly for, if I was doing aerobics, I would try to do that better. If I was singing, I would practice for the music program at the end. Or there was some yoga, like you have all heard Sundar, how he used to perform, excellent yoga tricks and gymnastics. He's jumped through fire. People were ready to, boys have broken their legs, jumping or doing whatnot, all for Swami to attract his attention. And so one of those events, I think we had a small tent kind of thing next to the library, and we were recording songs because we wanted a place where we could record and play during sports meet. And this was a song when it was going on, I almost broke down into tears. I couldn't explain, and I remember talking to some of my brothers there, and I was like, I don't know why, I'm just crying. And then, as you dwell on the meaning, and I think, every avatar came, but here is Swami who did not create a new religion, who just says, if you're a Christian, be a better Christian. If you're a Hindu, be a better Hindu. And how clearly he shows that all religions are like ladders to reach that one same goal. And we've all come from that same one source. I think that message was very profound. I think we could play this song just to feel and hold the thing. It's amazing the meaning of this Advitiyatu. There are, so whole life we are always caught up in duality. And there's one incident where Swami was in Vrindavan, and he was talking to students, and he said, and I was there down just under his nose at that point. He came and stood, and he was in sometimes Swami, when he was talking, you could feel that, the intensity. And he said, "You and I are one," he said. And then, he was not happy. He was like, and he complained, he said, this English language sometimes doesn't do the justice. He said, it cannot convey the meaning. And then what he did was, he pointed a finger towards him, and he said, "I," and then towards the students, he said, "I is equal to I. There is no difference," he said. See, when you say you and I, there is, language is creating you and I, there is duality. He's saying, no, you're all from the same, there's whatever material, or, if you want to put it scientifically, whatever you are composed of, really, that's what I am composed of. He's saying, this I is same I, he's saying. Which avatar actually could he take you this closer and come down to that level and say that, there is no difference. And in this sense, all the quest of, rituals and stuff where we are like kind of, sometimes I think I was lost as a kid, I was thinking, some mantra, that guru, or something could happen. If I do that, maybe I'll get liberation. You could be lost into so many, circles, just going around in circles, and he takes that all away. He says, you are, when I made you, I gave you, you have part of me. And that part is not different, not any different from me. So the only part, the job which is left for us to do is to get in touch with that. Right? To, as he says, but he says always keep doing your duty. He always says work is worship, duty is God. You cannot neglect that, but be aware of that reality. And so this is another program. I said like I would get chances for an interview, and Swami would ask, so what are you doing for? And so this is one of the plays which was done for Swami's birthday, and I became a fakir in this. So the story goes that one of Swami's students is in a railway station, and they meet people from all religions, different walks of religions come there, and they're sharing their stories, and each one is saying how their religion is superior or what it does. And this is where the Islam part, I'm singing Allah Rahm Karega. It goes Allah Allah Rahm Karega, Maula Rahm Karega. खुश किस्मत जो भी देगा अल्लाह रहम करेगा. I think if I remember, it was something to do about charity. I think Islam talks about charity, and that's what that person was telling. And of course, at the end, Swami's student brings out how love is the central thread in all religions, and he combines that. And so that is one of the programs I got a chance to be there. And this is after the program, Swami came up to the stage. So these were all the students involved, right from lighting, costumes, whatnot. So all of them were on the stage to get a picture with Swami. And so this is just one of the summer discourses, and I think I can share this song. And I think this was my last solo song in front of Swami as a student. And I remember Swami's telling me there, I took the Padnamaskar and he said, oh, you could have, and I thought this was my best song, which I ever sang, because a lot of students came later on and also told me, oh, Suresh, you were fabulous, or you sang very well. But Swami, what he's telling me, you could have chosen a better song. So, Swami never, he kind of said that, there is more scope to growth. I don't know, or why he said, only he knows. But anyway, it was good that I was happy he talked to me, and the song goes, it goes this way. I think I can sing a little bit of it. तू मेरा ईश्वर मेरी तपस्या तू ही खेवनहार है तेरी दया हो जाए तो भगवन बेड़ा ये मेरा पार है ओ मेरे साई ओ मेरे बाबा ये मन मेरा तुझसे ही लागा तेरी पूजा करूं नाम तेरा रटूं मैं तेरे रंग में रंग लूं ये जीवन मेरा ओ मेरे साई ओ मेरे बाबा. So this is one of the songs, and I still remember this, and I've sung it actually in many of the occasions after that. And so this is, I think, around April '92. I got a chance to go with Swami, as I mentioned, to Kodaikanal, and I think I'll come over and share more experiences. This was the hall downstairs. This is Swami's chair that we would just, sit around. And so morning, I think before breakfast, after breakfast, he would talk to us. Then he would go for, he would go outside and give darshan to devotees. And during that time, he would go out, and that was the only time he would go out for around the lake and take a walk. There was a lake in middle, Kodaikanal Lake. And we would come back, have lunch with him. And I think there's a picture, if you move forward, I think there is one where. So this was another one, so I can share this. When we came there, actually Swami, what he does is, he used to, many people would give Swami a lot of things, like say a company which was making new camera, he would come and give Swami like 100 cameras. Swami, this is from me, like first, whatever he has manufactured. And Swami would all collect, items for this kind of trip, and he would anyways, even otherwise, he keeps giving devotees. You've seen that he would keep giving things. And so in one of this trip, he kind of told me, and I was helping Swami, if you move next, in opening. This is funny because Swami told me, can you open that suitcase? And I bent down, and I'm not even able to, see where are the, zip, those things. I found it. I don't know what happened. In front of Swami, you forget yourself, your mind, your body. That was his presence, right? And I couldn't look for it until Swami himself, bent down and helped me a little bit so I could figure that out, and then I could open it. Otherwise, I was totally lost. And then he made me, so he got all there were many things, I think towels and soaps, cameras, which he distributed to everybody. So I was kind of helping Swami. And at that point, yes, I was happy, but now I feel, oh my God, what? That was a great opportunity Swami gave me that I could help him. Or rather, he was helping me, but it was his will that he made me an instrument. And so this is the staircase which would go up, which would lead up to his room, and outside where we would sit and he would talk. And this is just one of the things. So this is the dining hall attached there, and you can see Swami sitting. I don't know if the light is enough, but there's Ravi Kumar next to Swami on the right side, and then I'm sitting next to it. And there are a lot of VIPs here. The Swami would, take them along with that, with him. And one of those lunch sessions, I think what happened, my nature as such was, I could never say no to anything. And see how Swami tells you so nicely, but he does make a point to, for Swami, this thing. So there were different boys who would serve you food, right? Sambar, rasam, or dal. And in the end, always there would be some pickle. And I used to, so that's another thing, you think that you're a singer, you sing so well, I have a good voice. And so I used to take a lot of, precaution. I would gargle every day with hot water. I never used to eat sweet. I would avoid pickles because pickle can spoil your throat. But well, at the end of the day, it was for Swami. The intention was that I should not miss any chance, or when I sing, I should sing the best. That was the hope, the aspiration. But in the process, what happened was I would, when boys are serving in the hostel, I would say, somebody would say pickle, and you see that, that thing in their eyes, they're serving, and everybody wants to give you, and I was like, okay, give me. And I would take it, and then I would invariably, throw it. I would waste it. And so, Swami saw that I took the pickle, but I was not eating. He was like, why are you not eating pickle? And so I don't know what I said, but he said, don't waste pickle. He said, if you don't like something, say I don't like it. You can say that, but see, Swami was very, how he, he can, for him, even wasting that little pickle was not good. He said you should not waste, but there are ways to say. You can, if you don't want to eat something, you can say I don't like it. I think that is meant for me, because he sensed that, I was wasting that every day. And there were like lots of, but of course, as time passed, I think now I've understood that, it's, voice finally is also his will, it comes out when he wants. So I do eat pickles, I nowadays I eat anything actually. And it was one of that things which sticks in my mind. He said, do not waste, don't waste. And the same thing at that same time, Kodaikanal was really cold. And when I came to this country, it reminded me here, you always need hot water. And so there, I remember Swami saying, use as much as you want. He didn't say don't use hot water, just take cold water. I mean, or it was not that extreme. He said use as much as you want. There shouldn't be any guilt feeling when you really need to use something. So that kind of stick. I took that message, and I always feel comfortable as far as I need something and I'm using it properly. I think it is justified, but it's not justified if I take a half an hour bath with hot water. Probably that would be a big waste, right? And so that's another picture. This is one of that incidences where you can see my eyes are still closed. Swami's in front. He's come out. So when the bhajan started, Swami was not there. He had gone out to give darshan, or he visits some VIPs there. There are a lot of like L&T is a big company in India, and I think they have places there. They have offices, or there. I think the chairman have their places who invite Swami there. And I think one of those trips he was making, he came, and I'm not even aware that Swami is there. I think my eyes were closed. And I think I shared this incident. Swami said, we did this bhajan. Bhajan got over, and we all ran back and sat in front of Swami. And the moment he would slowly start talking, and he just caught me and said, "Hey boy, you did not sing Omkarams." And so actually, and I got a shock of my life. I was like, how did Swami know that I didn't sing? And I didn't, I used to skip sometimes. And at that particular day, what happened, I never got a chance to practice bhajan. So when Omkar was going on, I was actually like, making my lips like I'm chanting. But I was thinking, which bhajan could I sing? But see, Swami knew this. And I immediately, this is like as if he was inside me. Somebody from within me knew that I did not do this. Only I knew that I'm not singing. And he knew everything. And he, as we went on, in many of the things, he gave me this experience. If we move to the next step. This is also one of the sessions where after bhajan I got a chance to take Swami's Aarti. So I'd like to share one or two more experiences before I stop. I think this was so. I think this was one experience where he taught me a couple of things, but also made my faith more strong in Swami. Our days in Kodaikanal were going on, and we were enjoying his darshans and whatnot. It was heaven, and wish that it never ended, right? You would think, why wish we could live forever like this? But then, as the days were passing, a thought came in my mind. I was like, oh my God! At the end of this, another week or so, he would stay there for a month. But so I think it was third week, and I thought he would be going back to, Vrindavan, and then from there on, Swami, it would be back. I mean, you don't get to stay with Swami. You are like physically, you are in your hostel. And then you wonder, where else would you get such a chance? I mean, Swami actually was, I expected the least that he would, pick me out in that group, and he would start, as you say, when you drill a nail in the wall, you kind of shake and make sure it's tight, it doesn't fall off. And so he caught me, and then remember he said that when he gave me bhuti, he said, this boy has indigestion. What he really meant was, I think, those, doubts in my mind. And as we were going on, he actually even made a lot of fun. Once he introduced me to, a group of VIPs, he said, this boy is Thomas. And they said, oh, Swami, yes, Thomas. The people, so you know how VIPs are there. And then boys are laughing. It became a big joke. And then Swami started calling me Doubting Thomas, actually, for a long time. But this was before this. So as I said, before this, when this thought came in my mind that Swami will, and I whatever you say, your mind says something you think, but soul knows that this is God. When you're in front of Swami, you forget. I mean, there's no doubt. You forget your questions. You forget. It's that his presence is so strong. And in one of those things, as I was saying, I kind of a thought went in my mind, wish I also had some protection from him. I was worried. See, you have still not reached that stage where you know that, though you've heard it, but you don't believe that, you're not this body. You still are worried about the body. And I'm like, what if something happens to my body? That's what the idea was, that I want some protection from Swami. As if he's not inside you, right? But at that point, I thought maybe wish I got something from him, because I had heard that whatever he gives can protect you at times of difficulties. So it was that. It was in the evening, I think I thought, in that building. And next day, Swami came out in the morning. He was like, oh, boy, you want a ring? He just says that this boy wants a ring. And he creates, and he puts a ring around my finger. Can you believe that? And I was like, I was happy, but then at the same time, your mind starts now wondering what happened, like how could he know? Yeah, I thought something, but who? I didn't share it with anybody.
nobody would hardly talk there because Swami is there next. Can you imagine when Swami steps up in the podium in Purnachandra or wherever it used to be, pin drop silence. He never said anybody to keep quiet. People, naturally would keep quiet, and we were with Swami, so we hardly talked. And so that is an eye opener for me. But still, again, the monkey mind, it does weird things. You don't know why it does, and then there's